Hello, guys and gals. Welcome back to Andy's Attic. I'm Andy, obviously. Today I'm going to do a video on my 1962 tops. I'm going to show you a few of them, and I'm going to also show you the Pirates team run that I'm trying to put the set together. So I'm not going to make this too long here in introduction. Um, all you vintage collectors know the 1962 set. Um, Honestly, it's probably a tie between that and the 1965 Topps design. They're my two favorite, probably in the 60s. Uh, but 62s, they hold a special place in my heart, too. My mom, as a little girl, she was 14. Yeah, my mom, as a teenager, she was 14 years old. Huge Roberto Clemente fan, which I didn't find out until I was probably in my early teens that she was even a Roberto Clemente fan, or even went to see Pirates games with my grandfather that passed away before I was even a year old. Um, but anyway, uh, she was a big Roberto Clemente fan. She's seen him play down when they would play the Phillies. I guess her dad would take her down there with a friend of the family's, and she got to see him play actually a couple times. She told me this one story as a little girl because she didn't collect as far as buying a bunch of packs or whatever. I want to say the story from her end, what she had told me was whether she would get a pack or cards given to her from somebody because they knew she was a baseball fan and a Pirates fan. Uh, she would throw all the players away that she didn't know who they were and keep like the star players like Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, stuff like that. And she said at this time she still didn't have a Roberto Clemente. And one day she was walking home from school and it was kind of raining out, and she found a Roberto Clemente laying on the ground. She picked it up and ended up taking it home with her. From what she says, it wasn't in the greatest shape. Obviously, if it was sitting out in the rain on the sidewalk, it probably got damaged a little bit. And once it dried out, probably warped or whatever. But and then when my grandfather's restaurant and hotel got torn down, she said they only had limited time to get out of there, so a lot of her cards got left behind in one of her dresser drawers. So that story always bummed me out because I always thought, wow, if she still had some of them cards, she could have passed them down to me. But with that being said, I'm going to turn this camera around and I'll introduce you to some of my 62s. First few I'll show are actually ones I had years ago that I ended up selling, having the seller's remorse, and getting them back probably in the last 5 years. Um, all right, let's turn this around and get the show going. See you in a minute. All right, as usual, I'm going to apologize in advance if there's any glares. I'll try to present these as good as I possibly can. The lighting is horrible in here, and I have to use the lights that I have and move them close and everything else so you could see, so I could see. All right, the first card I'm going to show is a 1962 Frank Robinson. And I had this card years and years ago. It was an original card of my 62s. I ended up selling it. And a few years back, I looked for a good example of one. It's off center, left to right, but and a little bit top to bottom, but I got the card back. So actually, it's a pretty sharp example as far as corners go and surface. Turn it around. All right, we'll just stick this one here. All right, next I'm going to show you the Frank Robinson All-Star. Actually purchased this ungraded, sent it in years ago. To be honest, it looks a lot better than a 5 in person. Not sure what the issue even was. It'd be nice if we got some graders notes from PSA, right? I'm going to try not to spend too much time on each card because I have a lot to show here. There's the Brooks Robinson, which was also another one I had years and years ago. Ended up selling. And like I said, the examples I got back here that I repurchased to have in my collection are actually a lot better than the ones I had, the condition-wise. Next, we're going to show good old Yogi. There's Yogi Bear. Another Yankee coming up here, Elston Howard. Elston Howard All-Star. This is another one I had in ungraded years ago. Got it graded, sold it, and pretty recently in the last couple months I purchased this one here to take its place. I have a spreadsheet from everything I've sold on from PSA on eBay, and I like to go through that spreadsheet a lot and look for the cards. Sometimes I find them, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I find one that's actually a better example from the pictures that I have saved from when I did sell them. So I usually replace them with that instead of searching forever, or they might stay in someone's collection that I may never see them again. So, but every so often I'll go through my whole spreadsheet, look for cards that I sold that I'm really disappointed that I did sell. All right, coming up next here, it's also the second time I've owned this card. This is a really nice example. Eddie Matthews. Centering's pretty sharp on it, corners. We're going to end up running out of room here. This is a recent purchase for me. I always wanted this card. Stan the Man Musial. Centering's pretty good on this one. I just love the wood grain border and the way it looks like it peels back. It's just really awesome. Some people like it, some people don't. There's a lot of people out there that hate this set, but I've always loved it. And like I said, my mom, these were the ones my mom had when she was a kid that she remembered having. She probably had other years too, but she's 77 years old now, so her memory's not as sharp as it used to be either. So this is a very recent purchase. I actually just got this in the mail today. It's a Harmon Killebrew Killer. And I'll complete my tower there. Next, I'm going to show you Let's Play 2. Ernie Banks. Let me ask you, does Ernie Banks have a bad card? I think every card I've ever seen of Ernie Banks, he's smiling, he's happy. very photogenic. Member of the 500 Home Run Club. Led the National League in home runs in 1958 when he blasted 47. That's impressive. Next, we have Juan Marichal. I always liked him. I still have about 5 cards of him that I want to add back into my PC that I used to have that I ended up selling off. Then we got Mr. Don Drysdale. I could kick myself in the butt a few months ago. My one buddy that's a dealer, we have a local show once a month around the area here. He had a 62 Koufax ungraded, and he offered me a good deal on it. I just didn't have the cash on hand, and I could kick myself for it because the next time I went, it was gone. All right, next I'm gonna start with my Pirates set. I am trying to put the 1962 Pirates set together. We'll start off with the great one. That's my Roberto. I don't know if you get to see it very well, the glare and everything else. I almost got to angle these so you don't get the glare. That's Roberto. We got Don Clendenon. Roy Face. Now, there's also a few of these in here, like the Bob Friend that I had one time. My own collection graded that I ended up having to go out and get new ones. So, speaking of Bob Friend, this is one I had to repurchase. I'm pretty sure I had a 7, but my 7 didn't look even nearly as nice as this 6. So that just goes to show you how inconsistent I feel PSA is. We got Joe Gibbon. And I'm only imagining when my mom went to these games who she saw. She can't remember who pitched that day or anything like that, but I'm sure she saw most of these starters. There's Mr. Dick Groat. He was a star basketball player at Duke also. I do have a Pitt Panther basketball with his autograph on it because he was an announcer for a long time. It even shows it on the back side here. Campus hero. Dick was a basketball star at Duke, averaging 23 points a game. So he most likely could have had a really good career in basketball as well, but he chose baseball. I'm grateful because Pittsburgh don't have a basketball team. This is Harvey Haddix. Next we got Don Hoke. Like I said, I'm working on putting this team set together. Vern Law. We got Don Leppert or Leopard. I actually have two of these. I got a 7.5 and a 7, and not because I want it to. I seen it at a fairly cheap price, and I ended up buying it, not realizing I already had one. It's Johnny Logan. Still trying to get my regular issue Bill Mazeroski. This one here, funny story. This is one that I owned. It was ungraded. I sent it into PSA. Came back a 7. A few years later, I ended up selling it for whatever reasons. And I was gone. And then about a month ago, because like I said, I always check my spreadsheet, and every now and again I'll go on and check. I seen this up for auction once again, and the serial number looked familiar, and I was like, man, I wonder if that's mine. And it happened to be. So I scoffed it up. I really didn't care what I had to pay for it, honestly, because I just want to bring my babies home. Danny Murtaugh. I'm slowly but surely putting my cards back in order here. Dick Schofield. Bob Skinner. And this is the green tint. I don't know if you could see it or not. Tom Sturdivant. Something like that. Sturdivant. Sturdivant. I'm sure somebody will correct me on how it's pronounced in the comments. But anyway, this is the green tint version. I still need the normal one. I'm not trying to put the green tint version together. I just seen it and I bought it. So anyway, I also wanted to show, I'm a Pirates fan, so obviously I don't know if they have one for every team. They possibly may. They may have one for every team out there for all you fans, whatever team it is. This one here I have goes up to 1988, I think. Yeah, 88. And then I had the original black marker dot, if you could see. Those were the ones that I had. And the ones now that I am purchasing back, there's a little green highlight around that black circle. Most of the ones I had while I was putting the set together before, I either had ungraded or ungraded and sent them into PSA to get them graded. So there's still a few I need to complete the set. I got the big one out of the way though with Clemente, so shouldn't be too much longer. They have every year. They show all the cards in that set for the team set. So, let's see if they show the rookies. I want to see if they show the Stargell rookie. Sometimes the rookies aren't included in the... Don't see the floating heads anywhere. No, so they don't show the rookies as far as the floating heads go with the Stargell rookie. But that would be part of the, I guess, team set. Although they don't feel it is, I guess. Not sure. There's my 65s with all them black dots there. I once had this whole set completed. And a lot of them were in PSA 7s. Not that that really matters. But I had this whole team set just about, well, took me a little while to put it together. I already had the Clemente. But now I'm starting over. I have a few 65s from it, but that'll be my next one after the 62s that I put together. All right, let's just turn this camera around. I'll conclude my video. See you in a minute. And we're back. I almost just fell backwards on my chair like Bob walked during that one baseball game a few years back. They made a bobblehead of it. I didn't get that yet. I'd like to get it. Anyway, we're back. Here I am to conclude this video. I hope you enjoyed looking at some of my 62s. I guess it gives you an idea maybe that I am a little bit more of a serious collector from what you've been seeing in some of my other videos. But I am a serious vintage collector. When I see them, like if they're in a reasonable price range for my pocketbook, wallet, show my age there. But I'll try and get them. As you can see, I've been saving on razors and shaving cream, so I can afford some of these cards. Just kidding. I'm just, I told the guys at work that I was going to wait until the Pirates were playing 500 baseball again, which that might be all season long. So you might see me looking like Santa Claus or even Scott from Reindeer Studios by the end of the season. Hope you enjoyed this video. Join me again next week for Andy's Attic, for the Attic next episode. We're gonna have try to get something special. I'm working on some different ideas for some things, and I think you'll enjoy them. Yeah. So anyway, subscribe, like, comment. I love when you guys comment. You know who yous are. I write a book pretty much every time. Have a super freaking awesome day. Life is precious. All right, before we part ways for the night, I just want to remind everybody there's a $25 eBay gift card and this Mickey Mantle postcard up to win. If you go back a couple videos for me, it's good and plenty in Grandma's Easter basket or Granny's Easter basket. I can't remember what how I titled it, but instructions are in there. One of the big things is make sure you put hashtag Uncle Charlie in order to be eligible. All right, with that being said, thank you and have a super freaking awesome day, guys.